Chapter 2. I bid you welcome. Enter freely and of your own will. Welcome to my house. Come freely, go safely, and leave something of the happiness you bring. As the Count touched me, I could not repress a shudder. Welcome, Mr. Harker. The night air is chill, and you must need to eat and rest. Count, allow me. You are my guest. We went up a great winding stair, on which stones our steps rang heavily. At the end of this, he threw open a heavy door. You will need, after your journey, to refresh yourself. I rejoiced to see a well lit room at last. I trust you will find all you wish. Thank you, Count, very inviting. When you are ready, come into the other room. You will find your supper prepared. I pray you be seated. Thank you, Count. It looks delightful. Wouldn't you sit and join me? I have dined already and I do not sup. Please enjoy the wine. It is a very old bouquet. After I refreshed myself, the light and warmth of the Count's courteous welcome dissipated my fear. Everything is splendid. I must admit, my journey here has been a most curious one. Why did your employer, Mr. Hawkins, not come himself? He is regrettably quite ill and unable to travel. I assure you that I will attend to all of your needs and follow all of your instructions. Excellent, Mr. Harker. After supper, he offered me a cigar and then excused himself for not smoking. Your journey made you hungry, my young friend. Famished, thank you again, Count, for your hospitality. Are the servants coming soon? It is late. My people are not available. I will see to your comfort myself. I shuddered again at his touch. His breath was rank and a horrible feeling of nausea came over me. Whoa! Listen to them, the children of the night. What music they make. Oh! They sound so near, it's terrifying. You dwellers in the city cannot enter into the feelings of the hunter. You must be tired, my friend. Your bedroom is ready, and tomorrow you shall sleep as late as you will. Thank you, Count. I have to be away till the afternoon, so sleep well and dream well. I slept till very late in the day and awake of my own accord. I went to the room where I supped. I found a cold meal and a coffee pot being warmed by the hearth. A note was left for me on which was written, I have to be absent for a while. Do not wait for me. D. There was odd deficiencies in the house. I could not find a servant and not a mirror in any room. I had to use my own small saving glass. I ventured through a few doors and found a library. To my great delight, I found a vast number of English books. I must have spent hours reading them. The books were all related to England. The Count appeared to be making a study of our customs and manners. I am glad you found your way in here. Count, I didn't hear you enter. These friends have been good friends to me ever since my idea of going to your country. Through them I have come to know your great England, and to know her is to love her. I long to go through the crowded streets of your mighty London, to be in the midst of the whirl and rush of humanity, to share its life, its change, its death, and all that makes it what it is. Please forgive my intrusion. Things were so strange last night. This is Transylvania. Our ways are not your ways, and there shall be to you many strange things. Indeed, if I ask count, your couch driver has stopped on our journey here more than once, and he entered a curious blue flame. Ah, yes, you see, on the night of St. George Eve, when evil spirits are said to have full away, a blue flame appeared over any place where treasure has been concealed. Treasure? There can be little doubt, my friend. The Valicans, the Saxon, and the Turk fought over this ground for centuries. There is hardly a foot of soil in all this region that has not been enriched by the blood of men, patriots, or invaders. These were strings times, where the Austrian and the Hungarian came in hordes and the patriots went out to meet them, and of the Dracula blood were amongst their leaders. And when the invader was triumphed, he found little, for whatever there was had been buried in the friendly soil. Forgive my reverie, my friend. Tell me of England, of Whitby, and the property you have procured for me. It is an estate known as Carfax, though many locals refer to it as Carfax Abbey due to the old chapel within. The property is 20 acres. There are many large trees towards the back which blocks the sun and make the place rather gloomy. I fear the house itself is quite dilapidated and that dates back to medieval times. I am glad that it is old. Then it should more than meet your requirements. You have been there yourself. Yes, just before I came here, at it would happen my fiancé dear friend lives not far from there. How convenient. That of the other neighbors. There are a few other houses close at hand, the closest being a lunatic asylum, and there is an excellent view of the sea. I seek not sunshine and sparkling waters. I am no longer young, and my heart, through weary years of mourning over the dead, is not attuned to mirth. I love shade and shadow, and would be alone with my thoughts then I may. How near is London? By train you can be there in. I have no need to travel by train. Oh, I see. Then perhaps it is of no consequences. I will come to know your city, and she shall come to know me. I see the first rays of morning. How remiss I am to let you stay up so long. Supper will be waiting for you. Good night, Mr. Harker. Good night. There is something so strange about this place, and in all in it, that I cannot help but feel uneasy. I wish I was safely out of it. I fear, other than the Count, I am the only living soul within this place. I did not sleep well and awoke late at the next day, feeling as restless as the night before. Good evening, Mr. Harker. Count! I was so startled I cut myself. And there was no reflection of him in the mirror. I didn't hear you or see you in the glass. You are cut, my friend. Count, Count, what come over you? Take care, Harker. Take care how you cut yourself. It is more dangerous than you think in this country. And this is the wretched thing that has done the mischief. Away with it. A foul bubble of man's vanity. He withdrew without a word. Hours passed in silence. I felt the urge to escape, but how? All the doors were locked and bolted. The castle was a veritable prison, and I its prisoner. I wondered if I could climb to safety, but it was hopeless. Then I saw him. I drew back into the room and watched carefully. I saw the Count's head coming out from the window. I could not see his face, but I knew his movement, and I could not mistake those hands. I saw him slowly emerge as if taking in the night air. Then I could not believe my eyes. He began to crawl down the castle wall. His fingers and toes grasped the corners of the stones, just as a lizard might. Repulsion and terror overwhelmed me. Fear, awful fear, and no means no escape. It took me some time to regain my senses. When I realized with the Count's departure I had an opportunity to explore. I ventured into a wing different from the one I knew. I found a door which seemed to be locked but gave under a little force. It seemed to me a room occupied by ladies in bygone days. Yet there was a dread loneliness in the place which chilled my heart. There was a little oak table where I imagined some fair lady sat to pen her love letters. How I missed my dear Mina. Weariness overcome me. The Count's warning about sleeping in the wrong place came into my mind. I took pleasure in disobeying it. The soft moonlight soothed. The sense of sleep was obstinate. I awoke with a start. The room was the same, but I was not alone. I thought I must be dreaming when I saw them. All three had brilliant white teeth that shone like pearls against the ruby of their voluptuous lips. There was something about them that made me uneasy, some longing and at the same time some deadly fear. I felt in my heart a weak burning desire that they would kiss me with those red lips. Go on, you are the first, and we shall follow. Yours is the right to begin. I beheld her with an agony of delightful anticipation. Those lips, no, yeah, how dare you touch him, any of you? How dare you cast eyes on him before when I had forbidden it? For you, who has never loved you? Back, I tell you, back, this man belongs to me. You never love. I too can love. You know it from the past. I promise you that when I am done with him, you shall kiss him at your will. Are we to have tonight here? Not surely that is a baby cry. No, no. I awoke in my own bed. If it was all not a nightmare, then the Count must have brought me here. Strange how my room, once so full of fear, felt like a sanctuary. Nothing could be more dreadful than those awful women. Was it all real? Were they waiting to suck my blood? I feared it was no dream after seeing the Count scaling the castle wall. I was absolutely in his power. I stayed in my room all day, as was his manner. The Count appeared after the sun had set. I warned you about falling asleep in the wrong place. You will write 3 letters to your fiancée. He instructed me to stagger the dates for each letter, one that I would leave soon, one that I would leave the very next morning, one that I had already left. I knew the span of my life. I asked for God's help. Before I had vanished the letter, I heard voices from the outside. Gypsies were encamped below. I wrote 2 letters of my own to Mina, in the shorthand that only she would understand, and one to my employer. I prayed the gypsies will understand and post them for me. Later, the Count came to me. Our gypsy friends have given me something interesting. Oh, that would that be? One is from you to your employer, Peter Hawkins. The other is a wild thing composed of strange symbols, an outrage upon friendship and hospitality. It is not signed, so it cannot matter to us. I watched as my only hope was consumed by the flames. I think you have been very busy today, my friend. Get to bed. I very well. You will sleep, I pray. I awoke the next morning realizing I had slept without dreaming. Perhaps despair has its own calms. Yet I felt as if I had been rendered unconscious by the Count's command to sleep the night before. I decided to defy the Count and write more letters to Mina and try my luck with the gypsies again, only to discover everything was gone. Even my clothes, only this journal, which I had hidden under the mattress, was safe. The sound of more gypsies outside was unmistakable. They were delivering regular crates to the Count. I could only sunrise. He was preparing to leave for England. I knew his departure would surely signal my end. He no doubt was mailing the letters he made me write to Mina to create the illusion that I was safe. Then I would simply vanish, never to be seen or heard from again. My life was over. Mina. I despaired for hours, feeling powerless. Then came a sound. I thought I might see more gypsies. My stomach rolled as I watched him slither from the window like a snake, and wore yet he held a bag like the one I had seen him give the three women. There could be no doubt of his quest. There was not a man. This was a fiend. As I stood at the open window with my death certainly, I wondered if I should attend to the matter myself rather than await the Count's convenience. As the grim thoughts swirled, I began to notice some quaint little specks floating in the rays of the moonlight. The loud howling of dogs rang to my ears, and the floating dusk took on new shapes. I felt myself struggling to stay awake. I was being hypnotized. Quicker and quicker, danced and dust. They seemed to take dim phantom shape. Jonathan! Let us kiss you, Jonathan. We know you want us. I cowered awaits the end. No end came. They had vanished. Then I heard a sound from the country yard. The agonized cry of woman. Monster, give me back my baby. Please, let me in, please. Ah! I should have pitied her, but I knew her child's fate. She was better dead. The morning sun struck the top of the gateway opposite my window, and it was as if the dough from the ark had lighted there. My fear dissolved in the warmth. I knew I had to take action, which the courage of the day was upon me. Action. I was always night time that I had been threatened. I had yet to see the Count in the daylight. I wondered if he slept while I was awake. I had to risk the climb to the window he left from. If I failed, it was death, but I had seen worse than death. The mortar had grown slick with age and weather. I had to make sure the glimpse of the awful depth would not overcome me. I did not feel dizzy. I was too excited, having finally taken some action. In a surprisingly short time, I was in the Count's room. I thought I might find the Count's asleep, but the room was empty. Instead, I found a great heap of gold of all kinds, and none seemed less than the 300 years old. Perhaps some of the treasure the Count spoke of. In the corner of the room was a heavy door, which I managed to get open with considerable effect. It led to a great stairway. I went steppy down. I minded where I stepped. Some of the hope I felt at seeing the sunrise faded, as if consumed by the shadows. Near the bottom, I encountered a deadly, sleeky odor, the odor of old earth, newly turned. The smell grew heavier and heavier. I found an old ruined chapel, which had been seemingly turned into a graveyard. The crates I had seen delivered by the gypsies earlier now made me sense, but strangely they were mostly filled with freshly dug soil. Then I found something that filled my very soul with horror. The Count, but looking as if his youth had been half renewed, for the white hair was changing to black and the cheeks were fuller. The white skin seemed ruby red underneath, and the lips were fresh with blood. It seemed as if he were gorged with blood like a filthy leech. Why? Why had he gorged himself so? Was it for his impending journey to England? This was the being I was helping to transfer to London, where for centuries to come he might satiate his lust for blood amongst its teeming millions and create a new and ever winding circle of demons to feast on the helpless. The thought drove me mad. A desire came over me to rid the world of such a monster. I meant to kill him, but his eyes fell full upon me, and I was paralyzed by the sight. Try as I might, I could not strike him, only near his head. A grin of malice across his face, which would have held away in hell. The victory was his. I thought about what to do next. Then I saw the gypsies take a crate away. Surely the count was within, gorged on blood, resting in his native soil. And so ends my account. At present, I am alone in the castle with these awful women, devils more like it. I shall not remain alone with them. I shall try to scale the castle wall and escape with some of the Count's gold. I may find a way from his dreadful place. If I fail, at least God's mercy is better than that of those sea devils. The precipice is deep and high. If I fall, at its foot a man may sleep as a man. Goodbye, all. Goodbye, Mina.